everyone. I'm Jeff Brandon along with Walt Fry. We'd like to welcome you to Noristown Eagles football for 1994. This first home game of the season is a big one, playing the Bucks of Central Bucks West, a team that Noristown upset in last year's season opening contest. Of course, the Bucks went on to win the Eastern Conference of the state high school playoffs in 4A football, finishing runner-up in the state. Only 2 losses all year, won that final game and won the loss at the beginning of the season to the Eagles. So the Bucks have a lot to prove here on Norristown's home turf at Roosevelt Field. And the Eagles, of course, always a strong club fielded in what is perhaps the toughest division, toughest league in high school football in the state of Pennsylvania. And Walt, we've got what I think crops up to be a great game this evening.
Yeah, it sure does, Jeff. Something to watch for is strength against strength. The Bucks have a lot of people returning on offense, and when they get comfortable with the great coaching that they have, is really something to watch. They've taken their ball control act and made a little bit of implemented some more big plays into it, so that should be exciting. And the Norristown defense with plenty of people returning.
And as we look out onto the field, the Eagles have won the toss and elected to receive. They'll be defending the goal to the left of your screen. The Eagles with their white jerseys and the blue pants, the Bucks in the gold trousers and the black jerseys. Of course, they're on the far side of the field, the Eagles down below on the near side of the field. And it is a beautiful evening for football, Walt. It is absolutely picture perfect here at Norristown's Roosevelt Field. Game time temperature is probably about 70 degrees, little if any wind, and there really should be no adverse conditions, nothing that I can see that would really affect the flow of this evening's game.
No, certainly not.
And we'll see 48 minutes of football here this evening. We have, we'll give you a quick rundown on Norristown's starting offense as they come onto the field, and we've got a new quarterback this year for Roger Grove's Eagles.
That's right. This year it's going to be Phil Galliano, who spent all of his time last year playing cornerback on defense for the Eagles. Galliano is a little bit different than last year's quarterback, Eric Augustine. A little bit smaller, and they're going to be running the option. A very, very quick backfield. Then, of course, the big horse, Jeff Butler, back in there. But they'll be running the option a little more, and Galliano, in this big division that the Eagles play in, is going to have a tough time seeing over some of those linemen.
Well, Butler did a fine job last year. He was really one of the stars of the Norristown backfield, and I think Roger Grove expects big things out of Butler this season.
Both sides of the ball. One of the captains, along with Phil Galliano and Tom McKernan.
And it looks like back deep for the Eagles will be number 2, Damon Carroll, the other starting back in the backfield. And along with number 3, Lofton Thompson. Thompson will be on the far side of the screen here. Carroll on the lower edge of your screen. And the kicker for the Bucks is number 15, John Yencha. And we're ready to start here. The first tick of the clock for this 1994 football season. It's a good kick taken by Carroll at about the 14-yard line. He's got good blocking up the middle. Carroll busts his way through the interior. He's got one man to beat down the sideline. Oh, he's finally knocked out of bounds at about the 34-yard line of Central Bucks West. And boy, that's some way to start a season.
That's what they're going to have to do this year, Jeff. Along the front lines on offense and their blocking on special teams, Norristown's gotten a little bit bigger this year, and then the backs have actually gotten smaller and quicker. So it's an interesting combination, interesting balance.
Excellent blocking up front there. Great wedge coming up the middle of the field. Carroll really picking and choosing his spot there. Broke to the outside, beat several defenders, and the last man possibly to get him finally knocked him out of bounds. And the Eagles, 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line. Number 5, Phil Galliano behind center. Backs out of the I formation. 2 men split left. Carroll, pitch goes to Carroll. He's wrapped up early, but he falls forward. A good second effort and picks up 5 yards on the carry. And Walt, that was all Damon Carroll that time. He was really wrapped up a step or 2 beyond the line of scrimmage, but he kept those legs moving, was able to pick up 5 yards on the carry, call it 2nd and 5 from the 30-yard line. We'll run down the starting offensive players for the Eagles and try to give you the starters for the Bucks as well. Second play from scrimmage. This time we have splits to the left and the right. One back, handoff goes up the middle. That's going to be close to a first down. It looked like that time number 6, Jeff Butler, was able to bull his way inside the 25-yard line, and there it is, first down Eagles.
And that was Butler, the fullback. Be back there with Damon Carroll, the running back. As we said, Phil Galliano, number 5, running the show this year for the Eagles. The tackles on offense for the Eagles, Eric Stead and Rich Hicks, Jeff Fiss and Jason Fabian, the starting guards, and Dave Fazzini, the center. And split wide will be Brahim Mitchell, number 11.
So 1st and 10 for Norristown. Carroll goes in motion. They go to Carroll, cuts off the right side, picks up about 3 yards with a nice spin move inside.
And I neglected to mention Tom McKernan, one of the Eagle captains this year, will be a fixture at tackle for the Eagles.
So the Eagles moving the ball nicely here on their first possession. Of course, the big play was that outstanding kickoff return by Damon Carroll. It'll be 2nd down and 7 now from the 23-yard line of the Bucks. Handoff goes inside to Butler. Butler picks up about 2. It'll put the Eagles in a 3rd and 5 situation. Be interesting to see whether they go to the air in this situation.
Well, the Eagles really opening some holes on that front line. Roger Grove may elect just to play it safe and wait to see if the Bucks can stop them. Of course, the Bucks with a game already under their belt, having beaten Chester last week 22-14 in, by most accounts, what was not a very impressive game.
So with 9:40 to play here in the first quarter, Galliano takes the snap. They go to the handoff. Galliano on the keeper. He's got the first down. Picks up about 8 yards on the carry, and they ran the option nicely that time.
And a good time to choose it, too, with the running backs, Carroll and Butler, opening those holes. Finally, Galliano deciding to keep it and cut it up inside. And so far, the blocking scheme's working very well for the Eagles.
And this time we have Rich Hicks wide to the left, Brahim Mitchell wide to the right. Butler, the only back, set behind Galliano. 1st and 10 once again for the Eagles. Straight up the middle of Butler. He bulls forward for about 6 yards. A nice carry that time by Jeff Butler. Good blocking up the center of the line. Well, Walt, we're only about 3 minutes into this young season, but the Eagles looking impressive here.
Well, we mentioned early that the Bucks had a lot of people returning on offense. Their defense, however, only has 2 returning starters. And so far, this whole season, including the 3 minutes here, it looks a little bit suspect.
Eagles now with 2nd and 4. Line of scrimmage is about the 7-yard line. Let's call it the 8-yard line. Oh, this time they knocked Damon Carroll almost for a loss. I think Carroll might have been able to get back to the line of scrimmage. In on the tackle that time, number 41, Gavin McKay. Got his way into the backfield. Some last-minute substitutions here on 3rd and long for Norristown. That time, Eric Kelly and Mike Gimbel leave the game. Eagles this time with 2 receivers wide left, backs in the I formation. 7:56 here to go in the first quarter of a scoreless game. The Eagles on the first possession, they go to the air, corner position. Oh, Galliano lucky that time it wasn't picked off. The intended receiver was number 81, Hicks. That was a timing play there, Walt, and it looked like Hicks and Galliano weren't really on the same page.
Well, Hicks and Galliano both new to the, at least on varsity anyway, to the offensive side of the ball. And it's showing a little bit there, but I'm sure they will get their timing down eventually.
So an impressive opening drive, stalls inside the 10-yard line. So it'll be a 25-yard field goal attempt. The holder will be Galliano, and the kicker, number 7, Steve Davis. Snap is good, the hold is down, it's up. And the kick is good. And the Eagles first on the board here. They take a 3-0 lead with a 25-yard field goal from Steve Davis. Well, Walt, I guess you can't complain. Anytime you draw blood on the first series of the year against one of the perennial powerhouses in this state, the Bucks of Central Bucks West.
Yeah, that's for sure. Norristown very impressive on that drive. Of course, had the great field position to start with, and might have rattled the Bucks a little bit, but now we'll see the Bucks come with their strength, that offense that they have, so versatile this year.
Well, of course, the big play in that drive, Walt, was that 50-yard kick return by Damon Carroll. That was very, very impressive run, and the Eagles did a great job running the option, stalled a little bit inside. The Bucs able to hold up, and the one time the Eagles did go to the air, unsuccessful. But a good job by Davis, puts 3 points on the board, and with 7:43 to play in the first quarter, the Eagles with an early advantage. And we'll have 2 men back deep for the Bucs. We'll give you those players in just a moment. Looks like we have number 40, Dennis Siggett, doing the kicking chores for Norristown is Davis. And Davis's approach is good. It's a short kick. It's going to be taken at about the 25-yard line. Good coverage by the Eagles, and on the play that time is number 80, Dave Roberts, was your other deep back for the Bucs. Davis did a good job to field that one on the fly at about the 25. Picked up only about 8, though, after fielding the ball. Good coverage that time by Norristown, but good field position for the Bucs. And we'll try and give you some defensive starters here for Norristown. On offense for the Bucs, quarterback running the show is number 8, Ben Snyder. In the backfield, he'll have number 10, Bill Lowe, and number 12, Tom Haupt. The pitch this time goes to the right side. Good running room. It's going to be a first down. That's Bill Lowe on the carry. Finally brought down in the secondary, but not before picking up about 11, let's call it 12 yards on the play, and first down Bucs from their own 44-yard line.
And the Bucs will shuttle plenty of people in and out. That time it was fullback Luke Maroney, number 14, leading the way off the right side.
And we'll give you those Norristown defensive starters in just a moment. Bucs are set, everybody in close. Snyder, we've got a motion problem there. Looks like everybody was going on 3 except for the center, who was going on 4. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Bucs. And there's the call. Illegal procedure. And we'll move the Bucs back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15.
And the people you'll see trying to stop this Bucs offense tonight for the Blue and White Eagles. On the ends across the line, Eric Stead and Darrow Ray. Tackles will be Jeff Fiss and Tom McKernan. Eagles going with the 4-man line. The linebackers, Lofton Thompson, Jeff Butler, and Roisin Luzane. In the defensive backfield, cornerbacks will be Lamont Johnson and Brahim Mitchell. And the safeties, Phil Galliano and Sidney Bull.
So 1st and 15, there's the snap. We go off the right side again to Lowe. He looks to the corner, makes the turn. Good job. Keeps the legs going, picks up about 12 yards on the carry. And again, it's up to the Eagles secondary to bring them down.
It'll be Lowe and Snyder most of the night. That's how big part of how the Bucs got to the state championship last year, and certainly no reason to go away from it.
Excellent carry that time. Picks up the penalty yardage, plus about 6 more. Let's call it 2nd down and 4 from just across midfield, the Eagle 49-yard line with 6:11 to play here in the first quarter. The Eagles up on top, 3-0. Same set in the backfield for the Bucs. Long count. This time everybody's on the same sequence. Low up the middle. Pushed back that time nicely, and I believe Waldy was stopped short of a first down.
Well, both teams really filling each other out here. First game for Norristown and the first conference game for the Bucs. And maybe the 2 best teams in this conference. That still remains to be seen, but both teams really just feeling each other out on the ground. The Eagles got 3 points out of their drive, and the Bucs, I'm sure, hoping to do at least that.
That time, number 4, Lamont Johnson, was one of the fellows on the interior there, pushing Lowe back, very close to a first down. It's going to be 3rd down and less than a yard at about the 46-yard line of the Eagles. Snyder, this time with the quarterback keeper, and he's got the first down. We'll move the yard markers. Snyder with a good job, good forward momentum from his interior lineman, resulting in an easy first down carry that time.
Well, yeah, the Bucks have a lot of success straight up the middle. That's where number 68, Big Gabe Serlin, is 225-pound senior. He's their center.
We have an official timeout on the field. We have an equipment problem, it looks like. Damon Carroll back into the ball game. And of course, Walt, as we so often see, a lot of two-way players for both squads here this evening. Certainly not out of the ordinary in high school football. You have some people that shine, and they wind up playing a great deal of the game. 1st and 10. Snyder this time goes around the outside on the keeper. He had Noristown fooled. Picks up, I'd say, about 9 yards on the carry. Close to a first down.
There is one of those two-way players. Ben Snyder, you'll see in and out into the defensive backfield. Coach Mike Pettin of CB West will keep Snyder at the safety position, trying to keep him away from a lot of contact and a lot of movement. And Phil Galliano as well for the Eagles also plays safety. Something to watch for. Galliano running the options sometimes this year. Fatigue may be a factor.
That's a good point. Certainly something we should pay attention to this evening as this game draws on. The Bucks doing a good job of grinding up the clock here. 2nd and short, little play action pass. Plenty of time for Snyder. He's got a man open, and it's complete to the outside. That time Damon Carroll on the coverage, but number 80, Dave Roberts, ran a very nice pattern, and Snyder, good touch on that pass.
Well, that's a real impressive play for as good as Snyder is for a high school quarterback. The play action worked very well. And Damon Carroll, new to the Norristown defensive backfield, might have bid on that one a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you, that was excellent protection that time from the Bucks line. Snyder had all day to pass. There was no pressure at all, and really a great touch on that ball. And of course, if you're going to throw, that's the time to do it. 2nd and short, when you know your running game is going well. And this time we'll spot the ball 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line of Norristown. The Bucks driving on their first offensive possession. Snyder, the handoff, goes to Lowe off the right side, shakes one tackle, and he's brought down from behind. And on the tackle for Norristown was number 40, Eric Stead.
And you see how good Lowe is that time, just sliding through the hole and bouncing off Roisin Luzane, who couldn't get there in time. They really opened some big holes, and Lowe can do so much when he gets into them.
That's a good carry that time. It's going to be 2nd down at about 5 from the 12-yard line. Bucks doing an excellent job here on this possession. Again, the quarterback keeper didn't fool anybody that time. Jeff Butler and Braheen Mitchell were both there to wrap up Snyder.
Well, that's the Eagles' defense. Jeff Butler right there, number 6, the middle linebacker. The Eagles designed their defense to stop up the gaps and let Butler flow to the ball. And Butler's such a good tackler, you will rarely see him miss a tackle.
Well, Mike Pettin calling a timeout here on 3rd down, trying to avoid what happened to the Eagles on their first possession. That's stalling deep inside enemy territory. 3rd down and 5 from the Eagle 12-yard line. We've got about 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. An excellent drive, and of course Pettin saw that quarterback keeper. I don't know if it's you might call that a bootleg. Everybody goes left, and he keeps the ball and goes right. Worked so well earlier in this drive, but the Eagles read it perfectly this last time through.
Well, this is a good test for the Eagles defense. The Bucks always a big team, a big physical team. And Norristown we saw last year was maybe a little bit outsized in some of their games, specifically the games that they lost. So they're really going to have to make up a lot with their quickness, and that time we saw Butler do just that.
We had a tough season last year, Walt. I mean, geez, the Eagles played so well away from home, but here in the friendly confines of Roosevelt Field, they were not so fortunate.
But before we think jinx, it may have been drawing Pennsbury and Council Rock at home rather than the turf itself.
I think you're right. And of course, again, the Suburban One League National Conference is a perennial powerhouse in high school football. Besides Norristown and CB West, you've got the Knights of North Penn, you've got Central Bucks East, Pennsbury, which fielded a great team last year, Ben Salem, Harry Truman back in the National Conference this year, Council Rock, considered to be a real strong contender this year, and Abington and Neshaminy. Just some real great football schools. There's a big play. We're going to have 2 men wide to the left this time. Snyder with 2 backs in the backfield, 3rd and 5 from the 12-yard line. Again, they go with a little counter play to Lowe up the middle, touchdown. Wow. Boy, I like that play selection. He had Norristown going every which way, but after the ball carrier. Excellent play action.
Snyder handles the ball and hides the ball so well. That time, nothing to hide, but certainly made it look as if he had it on a keeper. And they went straight up the middle behind Serlin.
12-yard carry for a touchdown. And the Bucks now will try and add the point after touchdown. They lead now 6-3. The Norristown defense certainly fooled on that last play. Kicking the extra point is John Yencha. Good snap. The hold is down. Kick is up. And it is good. So it'll be 7-0 Bucks. So with 3:32 to play in the first quarter, both of these teams trading scores on their first offensive possessions. Both teams looking impressive. The difference is that the Bucks were able to hold on 3rd and 5 when the Eagles had their first possession, and the Eagles unable to do the same at the other end of the field.
Well, there again is that versatility of the CB West offense. Norristown with a lot of new players still sort of feeling their way around the offensive side of the ball, whereas the Bucks are just a well-oiled machine, so comfortable. This is basically the offense that took them to the state championships, although their coach will tell you that the defense is what took them. But the offense certainly a big part, and this is essentially the same offense, at least the same key players.
Do you think there's any factor, Walt, in the fact that the Bucks have already played one game this year, the Eagles have not?
Well, it's certainly a tough assignment for the Eagles to draw the Bucks. And again, with the Bucks with such good coaching and always great talent, every game they're just going to get better and better. Of course, the Eagles last year come out and beat the Bucks at CB West. That may have been a bit rusty. This year, the Bucks with one game under the belt and something to prove against the Eagles, it certainly could put the Eagles at a disadvantage.
Well, the Eagles will get another offensive opportunity. Again, it's going to be Carroll and Thompson back deep for the Eagles. The kick is low. It's a line drive taken by one of the upbacks, Jeff Butler, at the 20-yard line. Butler up the middle, carries it across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Certainly no drop-off when you have Jeff Butler carrying the ball for you on the kickoff.
And for a big man, showed great acceleration there. Got a couple steps in and was able to punish a few people to squeak out the extra 5 yards.
So the Eagles will take over again in good field position. Not quite as good, though, as their first possession of the game.
I think Yencha was going to make sure he didn't bang that ball back to Carroll again and give him Norristown time to set up and Carroll time to return.
Galliano communicating a bit with the fellows on the end of the line here. Brahim Mitchell comes in motion behind him. This time they fake right, go left to Carroll, turns the corner. He's got some room. Oh, Damon Carroll brought down on the far sideline by the edge of his jersey. Boy, Carroll really turned it on around that left side.
And not just a small guy, Dan Montgomery, number 22, making the tackle. Only 160 pounds, but the Bucks really show you how solid they are on defense.
Well, had Damon Carroll eluded that tackle, I think he'd have gone all the way, Walt. He really had exploded around that left side. It was quite an impressive run that time by Carroll, and good for a first down. We're close to midfield. The Eagles will have it 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. This time Carroll comes in motion. They fake the pitch, go to Butler on the delay, up the middle for about 4 yards on the carry. Well, when we have a moment, if there is a lull in this game, doesn't seem we'll have any at this point, I'd like to talk a little bit about Roger Grove's coaching staff this year. Quite an interesting sidelight in that he's got a number of former players back assisting him this year.
That's right. Along with his 2 former students who are paid assistant coaches, he's got 6 other students who played under him back just volunteering.
And that's part of Norristown's rich football tradition. This time Galliano keeps the ball on the option, turns it upfield for a first down. He crosses the 40-yard line of Central Bucks West. One of those former players is a fellow by the name of Tom Friday, who was one of my classmates in high school, class of '83. Tom, an outstanding football player, and in addition to that, a great role model for the fellas out on the field. Tom is not only a wonderful athlete, but a great person as well.
Well, Jeff, that's the idea. These are all student athletes who've gone on, gotten their degrees, and are doing very well in their lives right now. And that's as much a part of it as the coaching is.
And the Eagles, once again, first down inside the 40-yard line of the Bucks. Carroll comes in motion again. He doesn't get the ball this time. Galliano under pressure, runs out of the pocket. Well, I'll tell you, Walt, good job that time by Phil Galliano to read the pressure. He really did not have time to set up in the pocket, was able to tuck the ball under and actually pick up 3 or 4 yards on that play.
Well, that was a smart play that time, and that'll be his inclination all year, of course, is to run the ball. Again, he's going to have troubles throwing over hands and seeing over linemen, but that's one thing he certainly can do, is pull the ball down and get some yardage.
Interesting that Roger Grove wants to show the Bucks that he's not afraid to go to the air, even though the running game has been doing so well to this point with a minute to play here in the first quarter. Galliano, handoff to Butler. Butler's the workhorse, and he picks up about 5 yards on the carry. We'll call it, looks like, well, the officials are going to move that back about a yard. They didn't like Jeff Butler's spot on that ball. We'll call it the 32-yard line and make it 3rd and 3.
You know, Jeff, the Noristown offense not looking extremely clean, but fooling the West defense just enough so that those linemen up front can knock them off the ball. And Eagles are getting 5 yards a pop on the ground.
And again, a big play here for Norristown, 3rd and 3, tough yardage. Backs out of the I formation. Oh, Galliano on the keeper. Oh, he stopped short. It's going to be very close. Good tackle that time by number 43, Greg Lutz. Galliano, oh, there again, the spot. The Eagles do not get the spot. You hear the crowd roar a little bit at the official, and that's because he brought that ball back. That's what John Madden would call the old left foot spot, isn't it? And we're going to call it 4th and about a foot. And of course, that's about the length of the football, and that all has to do with the spot. The official felt that Galliano's progress was stopped at that point, and the clock expires to end the first quarter. And Walt, that was an action-packed first quarter. We certainly saw good football, only one penalty call, some excellent play by each team's offensive section. And after 12 minutes of play, the Bucks lead 7-3, but Norristown with a big play coming up, 4th and short.